Dude, we had like motor T guys going to airborne school.
Yeah, like
because why not?
Yeah, because they were probably good dudes and excelled, and they, they had that opportunity because they prepared themselves for that opportunity. Like there's no, there's no legitimate reason why a motor T dude would need to go to airborne school.
Not at all. Trust me, we've roasted all of them.
Welcome to the Military Bottom Line podcast, where we learn from veterans and those currently serving how to make the most out of a military contract. We're here to motivate, inspire, and help you leverage your service to positively impact you professionally, personally, and financially during your military career and beyond.
What's going on, Jordan? Thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jason. Like I said, I really appreciate this, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm pumped to hear your story. Our interaction thus far has been really encouraged with your attitude, and being a recent transition, that's an experience that a lot of people are anxious about, and I'd love to kind of hear your story and hear, the transition and how it's gone and what your 4 years and your time has been like. So I'd love to hear why did you join the Marine Corps in the first place?
Well, I mean, a lot of people say, it sounds cliche, a lot of people say it's a calling. I feel like that rang true to me. Unlike a lot of the guys I came up with, my path after high school, I went downhill, man. I was, as a juvenile, in and out of jail. I got arrested 4 times. Kicked out of my middle school, kicked out of my high school, barely graduated my adult school. And as an adult, when I turned 18, I was just working dead-end jobs,
Yeah.
Really going nowhere. What really set it off for me was I got a car from one of my birthdays. It was a hand-me-down. It was an amazing Honda Civic, and I totaled it in the first month. I became one of those statistics,
Yeah.
And I got out the accident unharmed, but yeah, I was being reckless racing. I spun out, hit a tree, and no scratch at all. It was like a blessing.
Praise God.
And the guy who pulled me out, the cop who pulled me out, go figure, he was a Marine. And I'm like, all right, this must be a sign. And then I got arrested again as an adult. This is my first time, and this was pretty serious in San Francisco. They slapped me with possession of a weapon, resisting arrest, vandalism. And, I knew at that point, this is not it. So I told the judge, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. And God bless her soul, she was like, good for you, son. And she dropped everything.
Wow.
Yeah. She even helped. She even wrote me a letter to my recruiters. Because it wasn't easy getting in the Marine Corps, actually.
Dude, I was gonna say, man, that
it's rough.
That does not sound like it would be easy after those hiccups.
Yeah, because this was 2016. It's not like 2001 when they're taking everybody. So, I had to get a few letters of recommendation, and then the RS Sergeant Major he basically chewed me out. I got put at parade rest as a pulley, and he asked me if I really wanted it, and I told him I did. And shout out to all those recruiters; they really helped me out, and I finally got in.
Wow, how long was that process? I mean,
it was actually maybe I didn't do too long in the depth.
Yeah,
like a lot of motivated high schoolers, thank God. I only did 2 months.
Okay,
2 months, and then I got my ship date.
From really the time quick. To when you went to talk to a recruiter to when you actually were able to sign in and they accepted you, was that months? I mean, how long did that take?
Yeah, like I said, 2 months.
Okay, all right.
Wow. The first month, paperwork.
That's fighting
the case.
Yeah.
My recruiters, I hear a lot of horror stories, but shout out to mine because they really stuck their neck out for me. And I think they appreciated that, they didn't have to recruit me. I walked in there and I was like, sign me up, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then they dropped everything and they helped me out. So
wow, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So were you looking for something in particular, or you just knew you were kind of in a bad spot and you needed to get out of it? Like
Well,
what did you hope to get out of the Marine Corps?
yeah, definitely my life was going nowhere, and I wanted to be a part of something bigger.
Yeah.
I knew the military was that. I grew up on a lot of war movies, seeing the camaraderie and the brotherhood. It stuck out to me. And my father was a Marine as well.
Okay.
And my grandfather, he did some work with the Navy, so I knew there was a lot more out there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So what did you end up doing? Like was it open contract, or what kind of job did you get?
Oh, okay. So I knew off the bat, I was like, I want combat. And something with combat. Like most guys, I was like infantry or nothing.
Yeah.
That didn't work out, thank God. And I was like, okay, tanks. And then tanks wasn't available, I believe. So I settled for artillery.
Okay. All right.
And out of all the MOSs in that field, I just so happened to get one of the best ones. I believe the best job in the Marine Corps.
Interesting. So explain that a little bit, because you and I know that when you enlist into like a job field, there are many sub jobs. You say artillery, but there's like 6 jobs that fall under artillery. So you signed an artillery contract, but then as you went through training, the needs of the Marine Corps, as we like to say, what specific job did they end up giving you?
So it was a 08XX contract. Okay. So the artillery field.
Yeah.
And then like third phase of boot camp, they told me I'm an 0861.
Okay.
Which is a forward observer, fire support man. You guide artillery, naval gunfire, and eventually in your career coordinate airstrikes and help with help whenever the boys are in trouble.
Cool.
And,
so it's kind of like a JTAC, like you're out there calling.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a JFO. Okay. I have controlled aircraft, but I do not have the clearance to clear high like a JTAC.
Gotcha.
Unless like shit really hit the fan.
Yeah.
But I've definitely controlled some fires, which is pretty awesome.
No kidding. It's crazy to think, how old were you when you were doing that?
Yeah. I was I grew up fast, man. I was I went in 19, so 20, 21. I remember I couldn't even drink.
you can't drink, but you're calling in bombs to be dropped. That's surreal. Yeah, it's surreal.
Yeah. Huh. It was crazy. But
so
I loved it.
You loved it? That's
absolutely
good, man. I'm glad to hear that. And I don't want to jump to like why you got out yet, but tell us about like you did 4 years, right?
4 years.
What did the 4 years look like for you? I mean, where were you stationed? Did you get any deployments in? And
yeah, so schooling was actually took a while because they start you off in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, good old Oklahoma, probably worst place I've ever been stationed. So once you pass that, you as the artillery training, you move on to the second phase, which is in Coronado, California.
That's not
where
bad.
You're right, where the buds guys are at.
Yeah,
and it's like you have to get through hell to get to heaven, And that's where we train naval gunfire. It was like probably the best place I've ever been stationed.
Coronado,
Coronado. Yeah, you're from Pendleton, so you know.
Yeah, dude. Coronado's, it's
sweet. Awesome. Great weather, babes everywhere. But after that, they said, where do I want to go? I told them Okinawa, Hawaii, or Pendleton. And where did the government send me? Good old North Carolina.
Oh man,
I know.
They said screw you and your what wishes, huh?
Right, absolutely. But everything I believe happened for a reason because I got to go to one of the greatest units out there.
Awesome. Which unit?
Second Anglico.
Second Anglico.
Yeah. It stands for Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company.
Awesome.
I have the poster right there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's it's not like a special forces unit. I don't want to get that twisted at all, but it's a very unique mission set. Like there's probably 200 of us. And you only see like 80 or 70 people at a time because there's teams deployed, teams training, or in schoolhouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a company size, unit with like battalion funding. So we got to do a lot of cool stuff that
Cool.
like the big Marine Corps usually you wouldn't get to do.
Yeah.
And, I was like, that was such a blessing, man.
Yeah. You said, I like what you said, battalion unit with company funding.
The other way around. Other way
around. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Any opportunity to be in a small group with large amounts of funding always means you're going to get to do cool
Sweet.
stuff.
I got to shoot. I was like, is this what the Marine Corps is like? And then I go talk to my boys at the batteries, and they're like, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So that isn't even like, I mean, you didn't even know like that little niche existed when you're going.
Not at all. A lot of people don't actually.
Yeah.
And I want me included. So when I got there, I learned what a spectacular unit and how lucky I am to be a part of it.
Do you feel like you took it for granted at first? Because
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
As as a boot, they told me to dress up in rainbow gear and let's go lift some weights. And then I go look over at my boys and 10th Marines, and they're doing like a log run in boots and utes,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we get slayed too, but it's a lot smaller teams, so leadership is on you, really.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So when I got there, immediately they put me on a team. It was about an 18-man team, and you're working close with captains and majors because JTACs and pilots. That's what makes the unit, and radio operators, and then my job. So yeah, I spent most of my years coming up just on a workup.
Most of your years you were on a workup, like preparing for deployment kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they told me right away, you're going to go to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the missions for our team.
Which is interesting because, I mean, so you joined in 2016. So, I think most people probably think like maybe some stuff in Syria, but like Afghanistan, between 2016, 2020, and now there's still people going over there, and that's wild. But I mean, it's interesting, for those that don't know, like in a job like that, you're either deployed or trained to deploy, so you're always doing something. Whereas other jobs, you might be just like sitting on your thumbs for a while, waiting on like something, So yeah, you had a pretty like high speed ops tempo kind of thing, or?
Yeah, most definitely. It was very high speed, but at the time, I'm just like you said, I took it for granted. Like the workup. If people say live without regrets, but screw that, man. I wish I could. I gave it my all. I mean, I realized it a little later in my career. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think we can all. I think most people, like, not knowing what the Marine Corps, what the military, whatever job you fall into, you have nothing to relate it to, and so it's really easy to take things for granted when you have a good unit, because you could have a bad unit, and like everybody's first contract, like people can have wildly different experiences. Somebody's gonna love it, somebody's gonna hate it, and you make the most with whatever you have. But it's important to know it can always be worse.
No, a lot of guys nowadays, they get out super disgruntled or salty.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, just the right place, right time for me. And you definitely have to show your worth when you're there.
Yeah.
Because teams are put together. You have to earn that. So once I realized that, I got my shit together, definitely. And like you said, it was crazy because we did have teams over in Syria, Afghanistan, and I just happened to put on one.
So you deployed in what year?
So we were an advisor team for the Georgian Light Infantry Battalion. Our workup was through 2017, and we finally deployed in 2018.
Cool. Okay. Did that did that satisfy that, like what you were hoping to achieve, that deployment? Like, do you feel like if you didn't get that deployment in, it would have all been for nothing kind of thing? Or, I mean, what are your...
Excuse me, I'm gonna take off my glasses.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. Like, I definitely got what I wanted and more, a lot of people wish to go to war and then, just be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
it was definitely by far the best and worst experience of my career. Because when you're out there, you're out there. There's no garrison crap you have to deal with.
Yeah.
You go patrol and then you come back and you just chill.
Yeah.
And then you do it all over again. That was definitely the highlight of my career. The camaraderie was unmatched, man.
Yeah. Did you?
I'm kind of at a loss for words just thinking about it.
Yeah, I hear you. Do you feel like throughout the workups, throughout the deployment, like, because it's something that I've been thinking about lately, is like when I was active duty, I never really felt like I was working per se. Like it doesn't feel like a job. Like you have to be here and do these things, but comparing it to other experiences I had now, it never felt like work. Like, did you feel similarly, or how do you feel about?
Yeah. So when I was on the team, initially when I was on the team with the workup and the deployment, it was all pleasure, man. It was, we got to do cool stuff like shoot a lot, drop bombs. What more can you ask for? And then, we had good leadership. So when we're not doing shit, go to your room or something.
Yeah.
But coming back, that's when it started to feel like a job, I'd say.
Because, why did it feel like work afterwards?
Well, once we got back, we were the last team to go out on that mission. So, a lot of guys got out, or some went to MARSOC, retired. And keep in mind, I'm the youngest and the lowest ranked there. So, or one of the youngest, the lowest ranked, and not to mention the smallest guy there. But I was I felt alone because a lot of my team disbanded, and I was doing a lot of admin stuff now. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just me. It was hard. It was a hard transition.
Yeah.
I was training the younger guys, doing a lot more paperwork. We still got to do good training though. So
yeah, but it was kind of a night and day. Like you were going from doing exactly what you wanted to do to all of a sudden not. You were at the peak. You were at on the high.
Yeah,
and then
that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
all of a sudden you're throwing onto the bottom, in the valley kind of thing, and trying to figure out this isn't fun anymore. So
yeah. I think what it was we had a purpose. I was okay, I can see the end goal. Yeah. This is why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And after a while, almost you should always be prepared for war, whatever unit you're in, I believe.
Sure.
It's just the warrior mindset I take very serious. But at that point in my life, I was I had a great experience. So I think I was more focused on getting out.
When did you make that decision to get out? How far into your career, or how far into the 4 years?
I'd say coming back from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Realizing, that experience was unmatched. I want to try new things. It's time to move on.
Yeah. So kind of 50% to 75% of the way through your contract. You didn't see that opportunity coming up again anytime soon. So you thought would have to endure a lot of boring things in order to get there
for
again.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel you're doing a lot of workups and deployments and stuff. Do you feel like you found any, other than your job, any unique opportunity that you would give to somebody else to say, hey, pursue this opportunity, this is worthwhile? Or was it mostly just kind of focusing on the job and training and deployments for you?
It's a great question. Like I said, I feel nowadays, especially with the younger guys, there's a stigma out there. They absorb is it okay to say cuss words?
Yeah. That's fine.
The shitbag mentality, Yeah. I'm sure you know that term.
Yeah.
These people want to skate and get low fades and put their boot blousings down just because it's cool,
Yeah.
But they forget why they join, where I'm going with this is if you know your job and you're really stellar at what you do, there's a lot of opportunities out there for you. Yeah. Well, at least at my unit, if you're on the top of your game and you're the first guy to do everything, you know, they're going to pick you for the cool spot at airborne school or deployment, or like, say a soft unit needs us, you can be attached to them, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd say just put your all in everything. And, you know, I started to slip off on that.
Yeah. I think we can all, you know, we can all admit to that, you know, like there's something about being in active duty that like
it's happened. It's inevitable.
Yeah. You know, because you don't want to be the annoying guy that's always like, you know, Marine, like you got that freaking IP there. You know, like come on, like relax about the IPs, you know? So there's
that stuff. Yeah. Screw that.
But at the same time, like wearing your uniform well and like getting that reasonable haircut it's all part of it. And so like in order to not be the annoying guy, you kind of end up being on the other end of the spectrum. And so there's a healthy balance that, you know, everybody should strive for. And it's okay to want to look good in the uniform and to like respect, you know, the process.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
so,
just be a stellar dude and be a warfighter. That's what you can do both. It's doable. I met some great leaders out there. Actually, you follow one of them on Instagram. We could talk about that offline later.
Which one? You can give him a shout out. I'll put you on the spot. Sorry.
He's a first sergeant.
Okay. Yeah. Constellations group, I think. Right? Yeah.
He's a great guy. He was actually one of my teachers in what is it? Combat training.
Oh, no kidding.
Small awesome. World, man. It's a small world out there.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. That's awesome. So you've been out, you know, you decided to get out. Did you have like a plan or like anything specifically that you're like were pursuing when you decided to transition out?
Yeah. Initially, did they have TRS when you were in?
Yeah.
They had there was a career fair, and it was an automotive technician position. They gave me 3 months of free school. While I was in, my unit signed off on it. I got to go to Fort Bragg, beautiful place. Just kidding. But yeah, you know, I got to stay in the Army barracks, and I just went to college for 3 months.
Is that part of the skilbridge program?
It was, it's a skilbridge.
Dude,
there's a lot of opportunities out there.
There is. And you know, when did you go to TRS? Like how far away from your exit?
Probably like 6 months out.
6 months. Okay. So for those that don't know, TRS, Transition Readiness Seminar, I believe it's called, right? Yeah. It's like a obligated, you know, week-long course or whatever, where they help you with the transition. They give you all these benefits and tell you like what's available to you. But the skilbridge program, like I don't know if that was a thing because it's been a couple of years. But yeah, like you said, I mean, you were able to essentially get orders for 3 months where the Marine Corps was still paying you to go to school. You know,
that was a thing. And it doesn't use your GI Bill. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's all free.
And so it's a way, like, I mean, it's a way to get a head start on the exit, but still get paid, you know?
Yeah.
And so like for those people that are nearing a transition, I think you can take TRS up to a year prior to exiting, I believe, right? Yeah. So like the sooner you take it, the sooner you know about these opportunities and the more time you have to take advantage of them. So
definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah. So you were thinking like you want to do automotive tech stuff or?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I thought this was it. I thought, you know.
Yeah.
And then finally I'm out, and you know, my first day on the job, my first week, you know, I'll just say it was not it. It was not at all what I expected.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, shout out to all the teachers that taught me. They gave me valuable skills, you know, but it's just not the career I wanted. So I moved on.
Yeah. And I, like I said before, like I applaud you for recognizing like, this is not what I want. Check the box, move on. Let's find something else, rather than like just wallowing and be like, oh, this is the rest of my life, you know, because that's not good either.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah. So you're, you know, the transition, I think we can both speak to it not being easy. Like it's a stressful, it is like stressful, emotional, even though like you've been looking forward to it for a long time, it still like hits you like a ton of bricks no matter what.
Yes, I think we can speak for a lot of guys that, they have these EAS fantasies that they're going to get out and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell, well, at least my experience, transitioning is probably one of the most dreadful and worst experiences I've had so far. It was a very, very tough time in my life, especially coming from the unit and experiences I had.
Yeah.
With the camaraderie and the brotherhood and living life,
Yeah.
super fast. It was hard, I had to deal with a lot of things personally, coming home.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I'm getting back on the right track.
Nice.
Like I said, how I found your channel is through those GI Bill videos. So I definitely want to use that.
Yeah, man.
And follow one of my passions of mine.
Good. Well, I know, we were speaking about it beforehand. I'm going to just throw you out there because, you're going to start a YouTube channel. And so hopefully, hopefully these listeners that seeing this, I'll share the link, which means you got to start it like now so that people listen to it and they'll go follow you and watch you, pursue this dream. So yeah, man, I mean, I really appreciate, like, because you're so recently out and like you're still in that like transition, like that like struggle, if you will, and, I think, yeah, like you said, like everybody has a fantasy about what that EAS is going to look like, because kind of like the turd mentality where we like to, get low fades and things like that. People they also gang up. It's like, oh, the Marine Corps sucks. I look forward to getting out because I'm going to have less freedom. And then you realize like, you don't really have that much freedom. You still have to go get a job.
Not, man.
You still have responsibilities.
I was working at, there's one of the many jobs I had, and I was like, they were working me, and it's like end of my shift, I'm tired, and I'm on my phone looking at my buddies' stories, and they're all drinking, having fun in the smoke pit, and I'm like, yeah, who's the one suffering now,
Yeah.
I definitely miss that life. So I actually signed up for the reserves, like I said. Hopefully I do some good work with them.
Nice. So and, I'd love to kind of talk about like how that went actually, because so you're still you finished your 4 years active, but you still have that 4 years within the inactive ready reserve, right? And so is that how you signed into the reserves? Like how did that transpire?
I feel like for me, it took me, I always have to learn the hard way. It's just the way I am.
Dude,
it took me getting out to realize like I got a lot more to give, I'm young and I'm knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I can still give more, and I miss the brotherhood.
Yeah.
So I talked to a prior service recruiter and he hooked me up with another Anglico.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And a little sneak peek, maybe after doing some work with them and after college, I definitely have another branch in mind. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, right on. Yeah.
Maybe a selection.
There you go. I mean, always keeping the options open and like, thinking ahead is critical. But I can also speak to, I mean, like, so many of us joined so young that we don't really have, like, we went to high school, maybe did a little bit of college, maybe we worked a little bit, but we don't know like what civilian employment is like. And like, dude, they're like, I mean, we know like they're completely different. Like,
absolutely.
And so when you have this hope and expectation that civilian employment is going to be like way better than the military employment, but because like when you're in the Marine Corps and the military, you don't have really anything to compare it to, so you have no idea that like they both, work at the end of the day. Nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to hang out with their friends, but that's the nature of life. We all have to work, but I found that I enjoy the military work way more than I do most civilian work, and
yeah, for sure.
And it's hard to see that until you've done it and done both sides. So I think it's important to realize.
One of the biggest things was like, my coworkers, like being surrounded by civilians again. It was definitely tough for me because, you can't make the same jokes you can in the Marine Corps, man. You have to be careful. And, like if you, at least if you're miserable in the Marine Corps, you're suffering with everyone else, you know. But in here, it's just like, you know, just got to keep to yourself and do your desk job or stock shelves like I was doing.
Yeah. And then everybody goes home, and then like there's not really camaraderie there. Yeah.
And not a lot of people understand the things that military service members and veterans go through, you know. I remember, like, you know, I kind of opened up to this one girl I was working with. And I was like, yeah, I told her, like, I'm a Marine. And she just looked at me, man, with this, like, dead stare. And then she proceeded to call me all these names, like murderer and all this. And I just looked at her like, you know, it's just one of those things. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Can't be mad at these civilians. But that's when I knew I was like, I need to go back and make a difference, you know, at least be a part of something.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, you know, it's cool that you like recognize that early and looked for that reserve opportunity, you know, because I know that from what I understand, once you've passed that IRR time, it's a lot harder to go back than if you like never really left, you know? And so like you still have that foot in the door. And I always tell people, like, in hindsight, like, just keep your foot in the door. You know, there's ways to maintain. Like, I know a lot of people that like tried the reserves for a little bit after they got out. Some of them liked it and stayed in. Some of them like did it for a little bit and realized they didn't want to continue. But like that window of non-obligatory, you know, opportunity is like worth trying out to see if it's something you're interested in.
Yeah, the cool thing is I can leave whenever I want, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can't do that on active duty.
No. Yeah. The flexibility there is wild. And like, you know, it's a short window of flexibility, but you know, and that's why I think it's valuable to, you know, try out and see if, you know, might be for somebody, but maybe not everybody.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, you know, I like to close out with a couple questions, and like, one being, do you regret joining?
Yeah, hell no, man. It made me who I am today.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't even. I would probably be dead or in jail, man. A lot of my friends still doing the same thing, same like juvenile things, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, the military really set me straight, so I don't regret it at all.
Do you worry like about like ending, like going back into that as you've transitioned out? Like, do you worry about falling back into that lifestyle? That
was part of my early transition, and I saw myself doing the same things. It was definitely, it was not it. So I had to dig myself out of that.
Right on.
And it's an ongoing fight, you know. But for all the guys out there, you know, you're not alone. You're not alone. I keep pushing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, we all got to stay on the horse, and like, that's all life is. Like, stay on the horse, move forward, progress, grow. And every, you know, I talk about this with my buddy a lot. Like, every time you're faced with that decision, you know, we talk about PMA, positive mental attitude, like every morning we talk about it.
Totally.
And you know, he's talking about like every point you're faced with the decision of like, you know, to take that drink or to like, you have the right decision and the wrong decision, whether it be morally, ethically, or just like for you individually. That is an opportunity to like level up in life. You know, like if you overcome that decision and make the right choice, like you just like leveled yourself up and you're like that much better, that much closer to achieving whatever it is you want. It's like, you know, it makes it easier. Like when you're in that spot to like recognize like this is that opportunity to level up, you know? And so you don't look at it as like a, you know, as a problem anymore. You look at it as an opportunity.
100%, man. Yeah, there's guys out there that they just feed off that negative energy and they'll dig themselves deeper.
Yeah.
But to the ones that, you know, that make the most out of it, you know, those are the ones that are going to shine at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Secondary question. Is it something that you would recommend to brothers, friends, anybody thinking about doing it?
I'm going to say if you feel like it's a calling or, you know, it's something you want to do or at least experience, do it, but have a plan, you know. don't have fantasies in your head. You know, go in with the open mind and give it your all if you're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we all fantasize in our head, like about like what an opportunity is going to be like. And like we build it up so much in our heads that it never, like reality never lives up to the hype, you know?
Yeah, that's the way she goes, man.
And so like there's something to be said for keeping that level head and like, you know, like looking forward to something, but not investing all of your eggs in that basket. Cause like, you know, it's not going to satisfy every itching piece of your soul that, you know, you're looking for. And so, recognizing that early on is going to prevent you from some heartache for sure.
I mean, like, even if you have like an admin or supply job, you know, you're still part of the elite fighting force. You know, you still can. There's still opportunities to do cool things.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to be good at your job, and the opportunities are out there.
Yeah. I speak on that a lot, and like within episodes, like people talk about that a lot. It's like the better reputation you've built for yourself and like working hard and like being a solid dude, the more opportunities that like your leadership is going to present to you, you know? And so
100%. Yes.
You reap what you sow kind of thing.
Dude, we had like motor T guys going to airborne school.
Yeah. Like,
you know, because, you know, why not?
Yeah. Because they were probably good dudes and excelled, and they, you know, they had that opportunity because they prepared themselves for that opportunity. Like there's no, you know, there's no legitimate reason why a motor T dude would need to go to airborne school. You know,
not at all. Trust me, we've roasted all of them. Even our S1 and S3 had them. You know. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's funny.
Just be a good dude at the end of the day. It'll come to you.
Yeah, for sure. I like to give listeners an idea of like what, like the two ends of the spectrum. Like what your best day in the Marine Corps looked like versus like, you know, I don't want to say your worst day, but like, you know, a day that wasn't your best. Just to get an idea of like the highs and the lows, I guess, of you know, the Marine Corps or the military in general.
Yeah. So other than transitioning, which was terrible, say my lowest was watching, you know, brothers get blown up and seeing men in caskets, you know, great guys.
Yeah.
Give their lives, you know, but it's what we signed up to do. Sorry, man. A little emotional. Definitely, that's something you can't unsee. And not only that, it's like seeing their families, what the families go through. It's heartbreaking. But you know, you can't just dread on it. You have to live your life.
Yeah.
You know, live it to the fullest, because that's what they would want. You know?
Yeah.
And I'd say the best time was those same days when we're just my team, man. I had one of the best teams in the, like my patrol team, Team Savage. God bless all of them. The camaraderie was unmatched. The best set of professionals I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
You know, one moment where we watched an IED go off. The second, you know, we're talking about dumb shit and you know, just messing around, listening to music. Those nights in my head out there, that they'll never be replicated or replaced, because those are some of the greatest times of my life. And that's when I felt so lucky to be a Marine.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you know, I think it's important to, like, there are stages of life, you know, like when you say like best nights of your life, you know, it's important to look forward and recognize that there again will be those nights where you look at like that night and say like, this is on par. You know, it's all relative to where, you know, we are in that point of life. And so it's important to look forward to like the next best night of my life kind of thing, because it will come. You know?
For sure.
But awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate you telling your story. Any like closing parting wisdom or anything you'd like to share?
I think I said it all, you know.
Awesome.
Be a good dude and utilize all those benefits if you're going to choose to get out, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me, Jason. It's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate this.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to, seeing how you do, watching your YouTube videos when you start putting those out.
It's a lot of pressure now.
Oh yeah, it's on, dude. Now you got no excuse.
No, I'll bring it. I'm gonna bring it. 2021.
Awesome. Right on, man. I'll be sure to share your link, and if you guys want to find more about Jordan, feel free to follow the link below.
Sure. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, man.